So I know that I'm not the target audience for the Archer and Olive subscription box. I'm a bit of a persnickety biscuit. I don't like surprises when it comes to my stationery items. I want to be able to pick out all of the items myself. So when I say that this sub box is my favorite sub box yet, I really need you to understand what I mean. As you can see, this one is a vintage library theme. The box is decorated with a whole heap of little book designs, and on the top it says, "Welcome to A&O Library. You are invited to come inside and take it all in. Every wall is filled with handcrafted books with exquisite detail. There is quiet, peace, a record of the human experience throughout history. Find your favorite nook, settle in, and stay a while." I quite like the idea of the record of human experience because that's like literally what my journals are, but anywho, let's open it up. Opening our box up though, and the first item we have is a fun little card that tells us exactly what to expect. This one is in the style of one of those slips of paper that they put inside the front of library books to say when they were last borrowed. And the front effectively gives us a checklist, so stationery box, create something, write in journal, prioritize yourself, breathe deeply, turn over for spoilers now, and set aside to be surprised. If you want to discover the box as I do, then close your eyes now. I'm not going to read out what's on the card, but here you can see what we can expect from the box's contents. Setting that one to the side so that we can get onto our items though. Our first item in this pretty dark red / purple box is a set of oversized binder clips. Opening the box up and of course ripping it in the process. These two binder clips are, as they say, oversized, and they're made of a copper finish wire. The copper finish does look aged, which goes in with the whole vintage library idea, and both clips do feel sturdy. These would be really useful for either holding your book or possibly your journal open. I know that I like to use clips when I'm doing flat lay pictures. And if you're trying to build a more vintage aesthetic with your pictures, they will certainly add to that. Placing those ones carefully back into their box though, and grabbing out our next item, this one is a rotating date stamp and ink pad. When I heard that this was going to be a vintage library theme, this was certainly one of the things I was hoping for, going with that whole idea of papers inside the front cover of library books and how the librarians used to stamp the date when you'd borrow things. I think this is a great addition that is very on theme for the box. The ink pad comes plastic wrapped, so we shouldn't have any leaks, and the stamp has the little ampersand on the handle and will stamp the month, day, and year. Although they look backwards here, they will be the right way around when you actually stamp them, and you can change the date you're stamping for just using the wheels at the top. You'll be able to use this stamp up until the end of 2033 though, because that is the last year on here. And as you can see, this date just says February 1st, 2033. I'm super glad they decided to supply it with an ink pad though, because it's nothing worse than not being able to use your stamps because you don't have any ink. Putting our rotating date stamp and ink pad back into their box though, and grabbing out our next item, which is a memo pad. This was another item that I was very much hoping to see in this box, and it's a memo pad of those pieces of paper that you would find in the front of library books. On the side you can see it has 3 separate colours, although the top one looks blue, I promise you it isn't. And although on the front here we have the author, title, due date, and borrower's name printed, this isn't actually printed on the papers themselves. I think this is kind of nice because it doesn't restrict what you can use these papers for. So we have the first section of the memo pad, which is on the bright white paper, the second section, which is on a thicker cream cardstock, and the third section, which is on a pale pink colour. According to our information card, the memo pad has 48 sheets of 180 GSM paper, but I will say that the cream colour feels a lot thicker than the other two, but they are all thick. Slipping our third item back into its box though, and grabbing out our next, this one is a set of 5 Calliographs. On the back it has our colour names, so we have mocha, golden brown, yellow ochre, slate blue, and umber. Getting those pens out though so that we can do a pen test. Calliographs of course have the broad tip end and the fine tip, so we're going to be testing both of those to make sure that they are the same on both ends. For the pen test though, I'm just using an offcut from one of my Archer and Olive notebooks. From what I can tell, the pen colours are the same on both ends, and I think the colour palette is nice and cohesive. As we had on the box, from top to bottom we have mocha, golden brown, yellow ochre, slate blue, and umber. These are all warm tone colours and they certainly fit the theme of our box. Putting these back into the box in the same order because the barrels of the pens don't have names and I don't want to get them confused. We can then grab out our next item, which is a set of 4 adhesive paper tapes, or washi tapes. I know that people were a little surprised that there weren't any washi tapes in the last sub box, so it's nice to see their return. And opening it up, you can see that we have 4 fun designs. Grabbing those out though, our first one is made to look like little stamps that have little descriptors for different types of things you could be doing with your books. So it could be a book from the library, a book review, or something you're currently reading. We also have these in a couple of different colours, so a black/dark brown, a cream colour, and then a rust kind of red. You can see that each of these has that decorative edge like little stamps do, and we also have a little perforation in between each of the different little stamps so that you can cut them off or pull them off and have them as standalone pieces. Pulling out our second tape though, this one has little book designs that are the same style as the ones we had on the box. This one works on a 25cm repeat, and the books have little touches of gold foiling. The books have varying heights and widths, and we of course have some books that are sitting horizontally rather than vertically. This tape in particular I think would be really pretty along the bottom edge of your journal, or if you're setting up one of those bookshelf trackers, you could also use it in there. If you didn't already know that the box was vintage library inspired, I feel like this tape and the last one would certainly give it away. Our next tape though I feel is made to mimic the spines of books, and it has 8 different designs that I'm sticking onto our little piece of paper. This one would also be good if you wanted to make a bookshelf layout, just one where the books were a little bit bigger, but the nice thing is that because you could use the washi tape, you don't have to draw those books in yourself. You can see that it obviously matches the colour palettes of our Calliographs well, so those could be used together in doing a setup. But onto our fourth of the tapes, and this is the one that kind of seals the deal for what I'm going to be using the stuff in this box for, and that is a set of gold star washi tape. At first glance, that might seem like an interesting thought, but if you're the kind of person who likes to give your books star ratings, then it totally makes sense with the rest of the box. Rather than drawing out the stars yourself, you just need to cut off the necessary number of stars from the tape and then stick that into your journal. The only way that I can think to make that better is if it was the kind of tape that you could very easily colour over, but I do think that that is a super cute addition to our washi tapes. You can probably tell what I'm planning on using this stuff for, but reaching into the box and grabbing out our next item, this is a set of book and typewriter stickers. As it tells us on the front, we have 4 sheets of letters, numbers, and symbols, and these have a matte finish. It might be a bit tricky to tell, but we have 2 different styles of lettering, so the typewriter and the book letters. And we also have 2 different colours of paper, so one that's white, which would match your journal paper, and one that's off-white. Each of the sheets has the same number of each of the letters and symbols, so for instance 8 lots of the A, 4 lots of the B, etc. In terms of the symbols, we've got an exclamation point, question mark, and a couple of other ones. Because they are matte finish, you could colour over the top of these with the Calliographs in the box, and each of the stickers is cut as a circle and they look fairly well scented to me. I appreciate us getting the typewriter style because that's my personal preference, but putting those book and typewriter stickers back into their packet and grabbing out our next item, which is a set of 2 notebooks. These 2 are absolutely gorgeous. They're both A6 size and 192 pages, thus a little bit chunkier than some of the previous A6 notebooks we've seen from Archer and Olive, but they're styled to look like books and they're so cute. They come in this cute little holder, which if we turn over has the same kind of pattern on the other side. And if we get those notebooks out so that we can have a look at them, oh my gosh. You can see that both of them have absolutely gorgeous front cover designs. The red one is a faux leather and the green one is a linen cover, and they both have gold foiling. One of these is lined and one of them is dot grid, so of course the one that I like slightly more is the lined one, but doesn't matter, we're going to have a look at both of them. Starting with our little lined notebook, you can see it says noted on the side and has the little ampersand at the bottom, and the gold is so pretty, and the red is so pretty, and the embossing on the front cover is so dang pretty. Look at it. Look at how beautiful it is. Okay, so as said, it is 192 pages with 160 GSM paper, so it's a little chunky journal, which is very cute. It has a pen loop, it has the elastic closure. We don't have any gilding on the edges, but you know, we've got gilding on the front and on the spine, so it's okay, I'll make my peace with that. And opening it up, this one is our lined notebook. You can see the little gold ampersand charm, which matches the gold elements on the front. I'm not too sure at this stage what I'm going to use this notebook for, because I don't use a lot of lined notebooks, but oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. The other A6 notebook we have is the green one, which also has the design on the spine and on the front, so the combination of the embossing and then also the gold foiling. Again, this one doesn't have any foiling on the edges of the pages. We have a pen loop, we have an elastic closure, but opening this one up, this one is a dot grid notebook. As you saw, both of them do have white pages. They've both got their bookmarks. This one again has the little gold charm, which matches the foiling on the cover. On the card from the start, it talks about using these as a pocket library, saying it won't quite fit in your pocket because this tiny library includes not one, but two extra thick pocket-sized notebooks, so you could use them for on-the-go book notes. Putting those back into their box and over to the side though, and grabbing out our next box, which of course is another notebook. This box is made to look like a book with the spine decoration, and it also opens up with a magnetic closure, just kind of like a book would. Putting the box down though so that I can actually get the notebook out for you. This one is a 192 A5 dot grid notebook, and oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Given the emblem on the front, you can probably tell what I'm planning on using this one for, but again, this notebook also has spine decoration, and it has decoration on the back. The notebook doesn't have any gilding on the edges, but it does have our pen loop and our elastic closure, and if we open it up, you can see that indeed it is bright white with a dot grid. My only gripe with this notebook is that it has a gold charm on the bookmark rather than a silver, which would have matched the cover better, or even maybe a dark blue like that kind of webbing pattern we have on the front. I know you already know what I'm going to use this notebook for, but I am super excited to get into it. Putting our items back into the box, as said, this is my favorite subscription box that Archer and Olive has ever released, and if you wanted to grab one for yourself, then make sure to check out the information in the pinned comment. Or you can head over to Archer and Olive's website using the link in the description box. Remember, for any of your purchases at Archer and Olive, you can use code JashiiCorrin10 to get 10% off eligible parts of your order, because we love savings. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing with at least the A5 journal in this box, so if you want to check out my reading journal setup, then the video at the top is for you. Or if you wanted to see more unboxing content from me, then the playlist at the bottom is where it's at. Click or tap on either of those and I'll see you over there.